Alright, so in this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about presentation tools in your Google slide decks. And in order to do this best, I figured I'll make a presentation and we'll work our way through it and look at all of the tools. So we'll start at the left-hand side of our presentation tools and move over to the right. Now, I'm sure you're saying, wait, what are the presentation tools? Well, there they are. Presentation tools are the tools that show up in the bottom left corner of a presentation when you have it in presentation mode. So I made a larger view for you so that you didn't have to look in the tiny little corner of my screen, nor did I have to zoom in and get a little pixelated. So here are our presenter tools. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to work through them left to right. You can also check them out in the bottom corner if you want to see how they change as I go through the presentation I'm doing. So the first thing to talk about are the arrows. So we have the left arrow and the right arrow. So you'll notice right now that the left arrow is a darker shade. When it's a darker shade, that means that there's no slides to go back to. And when it's white, it means there are slides or animations that are coming up. So these arrows take you through the presentation, not just slides, but they also take you through the presentation animations. So the next one is play. So what play allows you to do is play allows you to play your presentation through the slides and the animations at a rate of 1 every 3 seconds. So if you don't want to have to actually click, you can push that and it will run through it. If you have an animation that has a different timing, then the play will associate with that as well. Alright, so the next thing on our list is the slide list. So if you click on this slide list, what it will do is it will open up a menu. So you'll see that menu right above your slide list. That will allow you to see all the slides in your presentation. So right now you'll notice that in mine I have slide 1 and I have title 1, 2 has nothing, and 3 has title 3. So what this means is that I have a layout that has a title, and whenever I use that type of layout, whatever the title is shows up in this menu. It's really kind of handy. If you look at slide 2, what that means is that I don't have a template that has a title, or I don't have a title on that page, so I could navigate my way to that page and see what's there. Note that as you want to go to a particular page, all you have to do is click on one of these things and it will take you directly to that slide. Also, if you have too many slides, then there will be a scroll bar on the side. So you will always be able to access all of them, even if they don't all show up in that pop-up menu. Alright, so now let's talk about presenter view. Presenter view is pretty cool. In fact, I did a whole video on this, which I'll link in the text for this post so you can get to it. But I wanted to give you a quick snapshot of what you can do. So when you click on presenter view, what presenter view is, it opens up the presenter view. And that gives you some tools that might be helpful when you're making a presentation. So I'm going to click on that. So here we can see presenter view. What it does is it shows me my presenter tools. These tools include speaker notes. And speaker notes are those things that you type underneath your slides when you're in edit mode. And you see your audience tools. That allows you to do that live polling and things like that. Again, that's in that other video. The other tools that show up are just thumbnails for the previous and next slides, as well as a timer if that's something that you wanted to use as you are presenting. So if you are still presenting and don't want these tools anymore, you can always just X out of them. But you'll notice that your presentation is no longer full screen. In this case, it defaults into that presentation view. That's a presentation view within the particular window. If you have more animations on this, or if you're going to another slide, just clicking through those animations will take you through and back into full screen presentation mode. If not, it will stay smaller if you're already done. So while we're here, let's talk about how to get in and out of full screen mode, because sometimes you don't want full screen mode. In fact, this is the presentation I view when I share presentations with other people. So I'm going to skip over a tool. I'm going to skip over a tool to the full screen option. There it is right there. What that does is that allows you to enter and exit full screen in presentation mode. This is really cool because it's not exiting into edit mode, it's exiting into this smaller presentation view. So if somebody wants to navigate to another tab and still have their presentation open, that's something that you can do, which is really, really nice, and it makes for a more professional presentation. So you'll notice that when you click on it, the arrows change. So right now these arrows go out. So that means, oh, you can pop out into full screen mode. So I'm going to pop out. Now the arrows are pointing in. That means you can pop in to make just that smaller presentation view. So that's kind of cool tip that makes that you can use when you are presenting and wanting to use other tabs. Alright, so I'm going to go back to that other one that I skipped, and that is the laser pointer tool. And sad thing, does not allow you to actually write on the screen. However, it does give you a laser pointer emulator that helps you highlight certain features. To use it, you just click on it. So there we go, we can see it here. We're looking at this tool. It's kind of nice. It's better than an actual laser pointer, I think, because you don't need to have an extra tool. Now, if you want to drop it, you just go back down and you click on that tool again, and you drop it, and it's no longer there. My big warning for using the laser pointer tool, though, is don't click anywhere when you're using it, because clicking is what takes you through those animations and slides. Clicking has nothing to do with using the laser pointer, so you want to avoid that. It's tempting to use it, but avoid it unless you're ready to move on to the next animation or slide. Alright, so the last tool with multiple settings, or with multiple features, is settings. So if you click on settings, you open up a menu of a few different options. And they are available to, many of them are available to editors when you're in editing mode, but this is a way that's really handy for people who are viewing your presentation who aren't necessarily editors. So the first one is opening speaker notes, and you can do that similar to when you are in presentation or presenter view. Report abuse, just in case. You can do a quick print. You can download as a PDF and also download as a PowerPoint file. Again, something that's nice for people who are accessing your presentation and are seeing it in presentation mode but want to see it in another way or keep a copy of it or something like that. Those are tools that you can have activated for them. Note that if I am not an editor on a presentation, not all of these options will show up. I'll just have the print and download options if I am not an editor on it. In my blog post, I'll also share give you a link to how to share a presentation so you can see how you can give these rights to other people as well. Alright, so the last thing on our tool bar here is exit. And exit does exactly that. It exits presentation mode and it brings you back into edit mode. So here's where that was different from what I said with the with the full screen option. Exit is really going to take you out of the presentation so that you don't, so that you can edit your slides. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. Keep in mind that if you shared a presentation with someone who is not an editor, they will not have exit as one of their options because they can't access it in edit mode. All right, so let's exit. That takes me into edit mode again, and I can work in my slide deck and make changes to my presentation and whatever else I need to do. So that's it. Those are your presentation tools for Google Slides. And again, I'll link the presentation version of this slideshow in the notes as well as those other blog posts that I mentioned. And just a quick side note, I did learn something while I was making this presentation. There is, in fact, a limit to how many animations you can have on an individual slide, and it's about 20. So keep that in mind. You'll notice I had to have one extra slide that I did not want to have because I ran out of animations on one. That's it. I hope it was helpful. I hope you use these presentation tools and make lots of Google slide decks.